2.
Previously on Dragon Ball Z.
So let's recap. We talked about Fariha over this Anran redesign, and also discussed just how fake she really is. Seriously, you can literally see the very moment she puts on an act. Watch.
Fariha, voice of Anran here. Hi. Y'all, they listened. Because of all of you speaking up, Play Overwatch just put out a post with Aaron Keller talking about the intricacies of what a face redesign is going to look like. And it really seems like they're going to do it. Because of y'all, we might just end up getting the best version of Anran we can.
The acting was mid. Could have used crocodile tears. Maybe you should learn a thing or two from these fakers.
Wow. I'm going to say it.
We also talked about how she's deeply rooted in feminism, which that too is a complete hoax.
Because clothing can shape our first impressions of a character and has a tremendous influence on our sense of who they are every time they're on screen, sexualized outfits can contribute to what's called the hypersexualization of female characters. Hypersexualization in the media occurs when a character is designed to be valued primarily for their sexual characteristics or behaviors. In hypersexualized characters, these attributes are highlighted above all else and made the center of attention, while everything else about the character is made secondary.
Oh, is that why you have the makeup on, you've done your hair, you're wearing jewelry with high heels, wearing a form-fitting high-cut skirt, wearing a pink outfit that also exposes your bra, and copious amounts of cleavage, and also wearing a little crop top around attractive single white cis males? Oh my, ooh-wee, look at the hypocrisy I see.
Gotcha, bitch!
Which then leads to exposing the real truth about feminism, which is just an excuse for ugly women to be popular. Like Susan Wojcicki. We also talked about the complaints of Anran's design and one of the bigger issues of why people are frustrated of said design. Because of the slapping together a product to produce more product, cause the corpos say so. Now, there is an even bigger issue with Overwatch's character design I've been saving, but we'll get into that in a moment. And there is a reason why I spent so long explaining feminism the way I did. I said it was the biggest villain after all. And in this context, it still is. Which is why I planned this video to come out as late as it is now. Well, that and a lot of personal shit happened. But first part's true. I knew it was only a matter of time until a sexy new character would eventually come out and make all my points valid, and we'll get into her later. Sometimes patience is diabolical.
In the business, we call this foreshadowing.
This all ended on the big question: how does Anran's redesign and feminism lead to the maiming of Overwatch and inevitable doom? Well, to explain it, we have to go back to the very beginning in 2016.
What we do here is go back.
Ah, yes, 2016, the peak of the 2010s. The first time Trump was elected president, video games and anime were popping off stronger than ever, Nintendo Switch was right around the corner, and it was probably the best year for YouTube. Well, 2015 was really the peak of YouTube and ultimately of the 2010s. But 2016 was right alongside it. To me, both years were the best times in that era. I mean, a new culture was formed with vaporwave, lo-fi hip-hop, and retro synth, where 80s and 90s anime was being rediscovered from their music videos. Not only that, we were at the cutting edge of independent media entertainment. It truly was a glorious 2 years. But there was a video game that was being released that very same year, in 2016.
Are you with me?
Overwatch, and it was a titan of its time. Whatever concerns people had of it being a Team Fortress 2 clone, died immediately. When people cracked into the rich, diverse gameplay, the gorgeous designs, the larger-than-life characters, the Pixar-level animations, and the sheer joy and fun this game gave, it made everyone fall in love with it. It left a cultural impact and defined the hero shooter genre. It even won Game of the Year to boot. It really let people know that Blizzard still had the mojo. But this year also marked the moment gamers realized things were becoming a bit off, censored, and watered down. You see, there was another evil slithering around at the time, and that was the feminazis. Gamergate just ended, but not after ushering in feminist frequency and the feminazi bowel movement in video games, which was making shockwaves. They were already destroying cartoons and comics, and were systematically working their venom into films and television. Because when you're enforcing propaganda, you have to beat your opponents down with it until they are exhausted and overwhelmed. Like a good little Marxist. Now they had their eyes set on video games. It was infecting our cultural ecosystem with terminology like mansplaining, manspreading, toxic masculinity, and the male gaze, ushering those ugly flat-brimmed hats, men with fedoras, Gillette ads, and the ever-dreaded Me Too bowel movement that was just a witch hunt that ruined many innocent men's lives. Feminism was growing into a fever pitch fast and hard, and thought aficionado Zoe Quinn and Anita Snarkeesian were taking the helm. And when anyone tried to fight against this plague, well, that's where they activated their feminazis trap card, the victim card.
I'm angry that I'm expected to accept online harassment as the price of being a woman with an opinion.
Yep, that's called internet culture. If you can't handle it, get the fuck out. Anyone different that has any opinions that people find annoying and they don't want to hear, they'll get bullied. It's always been toxic. This has been going on for a long-ass time.
Oh, I'm a fucking... What do you want me to use?
Faggot.
You tell me what you want me to fucking use.
That's prestige, you fucking faggot.
Tell me what to fucking use, huh? Tell me what to fucking use, huh? Tell me what to fucking use to play the fucking game, and I'll fucking work you.
I love it how feminists hate the damsel in distress tropes until they get called out for their bullshit. Now they're the damsels in distress. Please help us from the bullying. And did anyone look at those alleged threats on Anita's life? Because, well, she could be lying. And that is a thing these activists do.
As the controversy has grown, so have the claims being made. No longer content with accusing Vic Mignogna, the hashtag KickVicSide has made claims that hashtag IStandWithVicSide has made attempts to harm those accusing Mr. Mignogna. Most recently, photos of a busted open door circulating online claimed that one of Vic's supporters had called the police on her to swat her. Swatting is an act where the swatter calls the police and claims that illegal activities are occurring at the target's residence in the hopes that the authorities will raid the target's home and possibly even cause physical harm to the target. The very same photos were later found to have been posted by the same person in 2016, long before the hashtag KickVic movement had started. The alleged target, Miss Samantha Inouye Hart, had previously posted these pictures on August 19, 2016, explaining that the police battered down her door at 3 in the morning. The authorities pointed guns at her and her family and searched the home. After the search, the police explained that they had received a call saying that there was a burglary in progress. Again, this was over 2 years before the battle between Vic's supporters and Vic's accusers had taken any sort of form.
What makes this even more damning is that Mars Girl herself revealed that Miss Hart was a part of the Funimation investigation. Now, what role she played in the investigation, we don't know. But the fact that somebody who was involved in the investigation went ahead and perpetrated a hoax like this in order to, we assume, hurt the opposition, make the opposition look like criminals and bad people, well, that just makes you wonder. How unbiased was this investigation, or was it just there to serve an agenda?
Bunch of fucking hypocrites.
Women.
I may not know my flowers, but I know a bitch when I see one. Oh.
Ironically, it was 2015 and 2016 that started the whole social justice, wokey nonsense, and controversies we now know in video games today. So yeah, those 2 years were kind of a double-edged sword. And to kick things off that started this whole controversial shit we now know today, the main thing that also got Overwatch's butts kicked when they first started was, coincidentally, about butts. Butt. Seriously, first Rainbow Mika's butt slap in Street Fighter V, then Overwatch's Tracer's booty over-the-shoulder pose. This is where things went seriously wrong. And you know what sparked that controversy in Overwatch? One fucking guy on the Overwatch Blizzard forums. Let me introduce you to Phipps and what this character just said. So I wanted to start off by saying I think the development team has done a pretty great job with the cast of female heroes in Overwatch. Yeah. They are diverse, interesting, and compelling. Yeah. From Mei to Zarya to Widowmaker, the female cast reflects a large spectrum of personalities and player fantasies. Yeah. With that being said, let's talk about Tracer. Yeah. From a marketing standpoint, she's the star of the show. She's a great hero. When we look at the way she's portrayed in promotional media, lore, and art in-game, we know a few things about her. She's fast. She's silly. She's kind. She's a good friend. Her body seems to be compromised of about 95% spunk. Rule 34 made sure of that, too.
Naughty.
Almost all her art reflects this. Again, Rule 34. She's got cool skins. She's got fun poses. She's got amazing victory animations. All of this art reinforces the great character you've built around Tracer. Then out of seemingly nowhere, we have this pose. What? What about this pose has anything to do with the characters you're building in Tracer? It's not fun, it's not silly, it has nothing to do with being a fast elite killer. It just reduces Tracer to another bland female sex symbol. We aren't looking at a Widowmaker pose here. This isn't a character who is in part defined by flaunting her sexuality. This pose says to the player base, oh, we've got all these cool, diverse characters, but at any moment we are willing to reduce them to sex symbols to help boost our investment game. Getting art into a AAA game isn't a small task. It has to go through an implementer, a team lead, an art director, and a creative director. This is a team effort, and I believe the team is responsible for upholding the great example Overwatch can set to the rest of the industry for creating strong female characters. I have a young daughter. Yeah, right. That would require someone fucking you. That every day when I wake up wants to watch the Recall trailer again. She knows who Tracer is, and as she grows up, she can grow up alongside these characters. What I'm asking is that as you continue to add to the Overwatch cast and investment elements, you double down on your commitment to create strong female characters. You've been doing a good job so far, but shipping with a Tracer pose like this undermines so much of the good you've already done.
And I got news for you. That means you're gay.
And what's insane about this is that of all the things the fans were curious about on this official forum, like the lore, the balance changes, the insanely long cryptid reveal of Sombra, it was this single post the Overwatch lead director Jeff Kaplan responded to twice! We'll replace the pose. We want everyone to feel strong and heroic in our community. The last thing we want to do is make someone feel uncomfortable, underappreciated, or misrepresented. Apologies, and we'll continue to try to do better. Well, that escalated quickly. While I stand by my previous comment, I realize I should have been more clear. As the game director, I have final creative say over what does or does not go into the game. With this particular decision, it was an easy one to make, not just for me, but for the art team as well. We actually already have an alternate pose that we love and feel speaks more to the character of Tracer. We weren't entirely happy with the original pose. It was always one that we wrestled with creatively. That the pose had been called into question from an appropriateness standpoint by players in our community did help influence our decision. Getting that kind of feedback is part of the reason we're holding a closed beta test. But it wasn't the only factor. We made the decision to go with a different pose in part because we shared some of the same concerns, but also because we wanted to create something better. We wouldn't want to do anything to sacrifice our creative vision for Overwatch. We were not going to remove something solely because someone may take issue with it. Our goal isn't to water down or homogenize the world or the diverse cast of heroes we've built within it. We have poured so much of our heart and souls into this game that it would be a travesty for us to do so. We understand that not everyone will agree with our decision, and that's okay. That's what these kinds of public tests are for. This wasn't pandering or caving, though. This was the right call from our perspective, and we think the game will be just as fun the next time you play it. If it isn't, feel free to continue sharing your concerns, thoughts, and feedback about this and other issues you may have with the game. Please just keep the discussion respectful. Thanks, Jeffrey. By the way, unlocking this thread, please continue the discussion here.
You a damn fool.
And they sure felt free sharing their concerns.
Balls deep inside of this shit. We have social justice warriors who are so triggered and bothered by in-game dookie makers. They can't handle this shit. Polygonal butt cheeks is not a thing that they want to see. This is some shit that needs to be changed. Oh my god. Wait, Tracer has a pose that shows off her posterior goodness fucking me. I can't believe we're seeing that. That round apple bottom. No, I'm offended. This is merely going to take her character and make her devoid of anything worthwhile. Now she's merely just a watered down sex symbol. And that's the kind of shit that they're really trying to say. A stance. A mere bullshit stance that shows an ass. Everybody, your ass is offensive.
Thoughts?
Oh, but this one person makes a petty complaint about the pose a female character makes, and you respond not once, but twice? So all the criticisms about the gameplay, graphics, optimization, balancing, future support and content for the game, the lack of a story mode, and why you're falsely advertising your game with trailers that make it look like there's an actual story in the game when there actually is no story. Seriously, why the hell are you advertising your game with all these story trailers when there is no story mode in your game? How come the bloody game director of Overwatch isn't responding to any of those criticisms and complaints? But as soon as someone says something about Tracer's butt, then all of a sudden it requires his full attention.
And feedback.
It's a very small thing on the forum, or at least it didn't really have much legs initially, and then all of a sudden Jeff Kaplan kind of talked about this and basically put flame on the fire and just made it completely burn up. And obviously there's been a Reddit post about this, and other people like Kotaku in Action subreddit, which have, taken this obviously and use this as another example of, there's been, there's massive censorship wing and SJWs and all that stuff. But regardless of all that stuff, I just feel like this is just a complete failure in just Jeff Kaplan's point of view. At least when it comes to Jeff Kaplan, that he just should have talked to a PR person before posting this.
So now you've got the casual gamers pissed off because the Overwatch dev team is patronizing the social justice wokesters due to a post from one guy, which then pisses off the SJWs against the casual gamers for fighting against this, thus stirring all this controversy. Now, if you look at the pose they replaced it with, it is a noticeable improvement. It's very clear they were trying to appease both sides, but instead pissed off both sides and created a PR disaster. Sound familiar? And keep in mind, the game just came out, so they're already in a bad footing with the audience. However, there almost seems to be a secret story here told, especially when it comes down to the Phipps post. What's interesting about this post is that if you compare it with Fariha's video, there are striking similarities.
I didn't want to not address the elephant in the room, but I didn't want to step on the devs' toes or speak on their behalf.
So I wanted to start off by saying I think the development team has done a pretty great job with the cast of female heroes in Overwatch. Yeah.
Also, give grace to the developers because they're always trying their best in the situation they're in.
They are diverse, interesting, and compelling. Yeah. From May to Zarya to Widowmaker, the female cast reflects a large spectrum of personalities and player fantasies. Yeah.
There was a precedent set by it. There was a unspoken promise that said, we're going to challenge the beauty standards plaguing and ransacking media these days, right?
What? What about this pose has anything to do with the characters you're building in Tracer?
I got to mourn Anran between the design I had hoped for her and the design we ended up with.
It's not fun, it's not silly, it has nothing to do with being a fast elite killer. It
says something that leaves a bad taste in our mouths. It's not the bold, optimistic swing that we know Overwatch to make, and it's a look that isn't congruent with her personality.
It just reduces Tracer to another bland female sex symbol.
Right? She looks like the younger sibling. She looks more docile. Somehow, as the fire hero, she looks more docile than the most docile peacekeeping support in the game.
We aren't looking at a Widowmaker pose here. This isn't a character who is in part defined by flaunting her sexuality.
The Ozempic chic.
This pose says to the player base, oh, we've got all these cool, diverse characters, but at any moment we are willing to reduce them to sex symbols to help boost our investment game.
Could be, contour your nose, you have no nose, the tiniest nose. And I think because of that precedence, people feel understandably let down.
Getting art into a AAA game isn't a small task. It has to go through an implementer, a team lead, an art director, and a creative director. This is a team effort. And
I want you to know that I shared all of this with the dev team. Not only that, I was encouraged to be as open and honest as possible, to not hold anything back. And it's my hope that this isn't for naught, right? That they see it, they hear it from you all too.
And I believe the team is responsible for upholding the great example Overwatch can set to the rest of the industry for creating strong female characters.
But I wanted you to hear that this concern is important. This is a hill worth dying on. It's worth speaking on.
I have a young daughter that every day when I wake up wants to watch the Recall trailer again. She knows who Tracer is, and as she grows up, she can grow up alongside these characters.
Because I believe that the more we speak up about the things that truly matter to us, the more we'll see ourselves reflected in the world around us. The more we'll see our values in the world around us, right?
What I'm asking is that as you continue to add to the Overwatch cast and investment elements, you double down on your commitment to create strong female characters.
Because Overwatch is not an exploration of what the world is. It's an exploration on what the world could be. Right?
You've been doing a good job so far, but shipping with a Tracer pose like this undermines so much of the good you've already done.
Overwatch is a trailblazer at challenging that, right? Of trying to break those molds, of trying to explore the bounds of what it means to be good, what it looks like to be heroic. And I think the result we got says something else.
So same song and dance, just different partner.
They're the same picture.
But here's the most interesting thing with this Phipps character. This is the last post in the Overwatch Blizzard forum that this person ever made. Not even an acknowledgement of the sheer impact this post had made. So that's a little sus. But if it was true that Jeff Kaplan and the team already planned on changing it before the post, then I feel that Phipps would definitely respond to the replacement post for Tracer, which was a pose based off of a pinup girl. So they went from sexy to sexier. I too am flummoxed. We all noticed it, yet Phipps was silent. Why was that? Well, I got a bit of a game theory here. I know trolls exist, but what if Phipps never existed as some random guy online, and it was actually an Overwatch dev plant pretending to be a fan to make it look like Overwatch is listening to the fan base by changing the character for good PR? That would explain a lot. I mean, this Phipps guy was very descriptive on what it takes to get art funneling through a AAA studio game.
Getting art into a AAA game isn't a small task. It has to go through an implementer, a team lead, an art director, and a creative director. This is a team effort.
It almost sounds like a guy that works in the industry. And now that Anran's final design has just come out, these controversies are identical from each other. We too went from Anran design to sexier Anran design. You might even say hotter design, pun intended. And what makes this even more uncanny is that both of these controversies happened on an Overwatch Season 1! You can't make this shit up, folks. I am sad I lack the talent to make this shit up. There's a reason why I set up part 2 at the end of part 1 about the Tracer butt pose drama, because I know these people like the back of my hand. I even kind of called what her design would end up being. However, since Anran is going to be changed, whether we like it or not, there can be slight changes in her topology that won't fuck up the poly count and have that tougher older sister look, whilst still looking, pun intended, hot. For example, almond out the eyes a bit more, elongate the face a tad more, maybe pull out the bridge of the nose just slightly, and I think there's a nice middle ground. That's why I spent that time talking about being mindful of her poly count. And Fariha did admit in an interview with Carolina Ravassa, the voice actress of Sombra, that it indeed was planned from the beginning.
Cool, because they were already interested in maybe changing the look. Was that something? Or
it's something that we had discussed, and so I was like, hey, can I share that, these conversations are being had.
Okay.
It was planned. It was fucking planned.
You gotta be fucking kidding.
So whose brilliant idea was it to use the Ozempic Chic line? Fariha or Team 4, the Overwatch dev team? Don't get me wrong, there's history of women like her that speak on behalf of the company on their own woke agendas, and get away with it because the studio is just as woke. But to admit that her and Team 4 collabed together to say stupid shit about beauty standards, like, holy shit, motherfucker! does the team look at logic and go, that's anti-woke conspiracies, we're more smarter than they are, because they did this retarded shit? I 100% emphatically believe the Phipps character didn't exist and is a ploy by Team 4. It's very clear they look at controversy as a good thing to strum up attention for their game, but all it does is piss people off. At this point, we might as well call the company Activism Blizzard. No, I will not stop with the jokes. But the real question I ask is, of all the characters, why Anran specifically to start the controversy? I think I can answer that. Hear me out, for there might be another reason to it all.
No, there is another.
So here's my game theory on this. I think the fandom did want a face change, and Fariha did hijack it and want to make it about her, talking about beauty standards bullshit. That, I do believe, was wholeheartedly true. But you gotta realize something. The people at Team 4, the Blizzard crew that work on Overwatch, are just as woke as Fariha. And I think, be it rushed or whatever, they didn't like Anran's design as well. They don't give a flying Walinda, let me repeat this, they don't give a flying fucking Walinda what Fariha said. She has no say in game design. She's just a voice actress. I don't understand why these voice actors believe they are God's gift to a project. Seriously, they've got egos the size of Godzilla's dong. You guys are not that important to a project. You're saying one-liners and grunting. There are trained thespians at a local theater somewhere that can do the job just as good as you all can, and appreciate it too. You all are replaceable. If they can change McCree's name to Cassidy, they can change you. But what makes this even worse is that Fariha's not even a trained voice actress. She's just a streamer.
Was it one of your first professional recording sessions for voice acting?
Yeah.
Or like, what?
This was my first ever paid gig, so...
Who's in charge of the casting? Drunken monkeys? So you're fucked if you've been in the theater for years being a trained thespian wanting to go to voice acting, because streamers will now just take your job. And then they'll go online and say, see how easy it is? Holy Moses, acting is cooked. But anyways, either way, Team 4 saw Fariha as a useful idiot. In Team 4's tiny little brains, they're like, why waste a good controversy when it can strum up attention for the new Overwatch 1? It's very clear they were already planning on changing the character because the team's artists already didn't like it. And it was probably a big middle finger to the corpos in charge, predominantly the original team that was in charge, since that seems to be the fad for the company to promote their new Overwatch 1. Again. Good night, what a mess.
They don't know what the fuck they're doing. Do you understand that?
And that's a fact.
Think about it. I've already explained how these corpos look at the chart saying, sex sells, make more skins of sexy characters. But I don't think people understand just how many. Mercy holds the record of having the most skins, being approximately 160, including the ever-coveted pink and rose gold Mercy skins. And she's the only one with 2 mythic skins because, well, look at her. They gave her the skin of the Persona Panther chick, and it works. She's what we call a baddie. As of right now, since her debut in Overwatch 2's launch, Kiriko has approximately 72 skins, making her the most updated character in Overwatch, often receiving new content, including special collaborations. And that's because she's a hot Japanese nerd girl, an otaku's wet dream. And one of the newer characters, the adorable Juno, is right on her trail because cute, sexy Asian girl from Mars. By the way, missed opportunity for not making the alien girl pink skin. Why should Widowmaker be the only one with Technicolor skin? Not very DEI of you. Just look at the previous Project Yorha collab. Guess who's playing the sexy 2B character? That's right, it's Kiriko, and also Mercy is Commander White. And look at the previous Hello Kitty collab. Sexy girl, sexy girl, sexy girl, sexy girl, sexy girl, and Frog Boy as Frog Boy. Which, by the way, is not a very good idea to do too many of these collabs. Those trademark fees get rather expensive after a while. Just saying. Or how about their own original skin mega bundles? For starters, the Rainy Day Mega Bundle. Sexy girl, 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 and Pigman as Pigman. Another example is their Crimson Court Mega Bundle. Sexy girl, sexy girl, sexy girl, sexy girl, and Doomfist as Night Guy. Is it always the case? No. But it sure as heck happens a lot. And look, Anran's already getting tons of skins almost immediately. Another clear example, they weren't going to do much with Anran's redesign. Another example is a Yoasobi collab, where it's very clear Overwatch is catering to the Eastern Asian demographic, probably because the Western world is just not there as it once was. Kiriko here is the main star of this collab, and since there's not enough Japanese characters for this collab, well, just bring the other Asians to look the part. Speaking of cultural sensitivity, not a good idea to bring a Chinese character into a collab specifically designed for Japan and its market. Since, you know, Japan has a hateful history with China to this very day. But what do I know? I just do research and read.
Just read a book once in your life.
And holy shnikes, the Playboy Bunny, I mean the White Rabbit Mega Bundle. Consultant agencies weren't paying attention that day.
Oh, Mommy.
Now, don't get me wrong. I love my lovely ladies. But as an artist designing all these costumes for the exact same characters and body types, I would get fucking tired. And I would hate to work on the attractive buff dudes and do this crop top dream daddy look for the gays and girls. I would rather mix it up and work on interesting skins of other interesting characters, like Junkrat, Roadhog, Orisa, Zenyatta, Ash and Bob, especially Bob, Hammond, aka Wrecking Ball, Winston, Jetpack Cat, Reinhardt, Maga, Zarya, Brigitte, anyone else. I've already stated how it feels the design team is feeling a bit burnt out, and I bet they are. So giving them time to focus on something different and creative will help. Something that feels reminiscent of the original Overwatch game and the fun they had. Heck, we all do. And that goes double for character designs as well. Like I said previously, give them more time to cook. Look, I'm an imaginative artist. Jetpack Cat is great, but give us another wild card. Give us the mecha team. Give us Mama Hong. Give us a middle ground of whatever this fucking scrapped character's supposed to be. Cause Daddy's a little freaky, and Daddy likes. Put me in, coach. I will design this character for you for $0 motherfucking dollars while defiantly aroused. Alright, it won't be for free, but I have ideas.
The Grinch got a wonderful, awful idea.
Yes.
And I know your Laura's hiding evil psychic genius primates on the moon. Give us evil psychic space monkey boss. I want more monkey bosses. Could you imagine the great evil that's controlling everything behind the scenes that the team is building up in this lore is actually just an evil primate on the moon controlling everything behind the scenes? I'm giving you creative idea gold here, people. Take it.
Monkey! Monkey!
And we know that there are people in the Overwatch team that still care, because they're fans of the games just like we are. When these silhouettes were first shown, I betted my bottom dollar that tank in the background was Demon, the rival to Diva of the mecha team. A fan favorite everyone has been dying to see in the game. And signs are confirming I'm right. That's why I have a feeling they're saving her for last. Or not. Just eat dessert early so I don't really care about your new heroes and have nothing to look forward to at the end. Intelligent as always, Team 4. So there's still some fun characters left. That is until after Demon. but it's starting to get less frequent with the visually unique ones, and more and more and more and more of the attractive ones. I'm sure the Overwatch dev team asks, can we make skins for anyone else? And to that, I'm sure the Corpo execs say, no!
Should've picked mercy. Should've picked any kind of support. You ended up losing, and it's all your fault. You should learn how this game works. Should've been helping.
If you like Mercy so much, why don't you just marry her?
oh, don't encourage the fan base.
Cringe.
Now, does that mean that some of the design team are against sexy characters in TNA? Well, look at the bunny pack that came out and you tell me.
Like, dude, it's almost demeaning what they do to the characters. They even gave Zarya a sexy new outfit and... Wait. What the fuck?
Gal reminds me of the highway between Fort Worth and Dallas. No curves.
I'm about to crash out.
Why the fuck did you not add hips, thighs, and ass to the muscle mommy? What the hell?
It's very clear the team nerfed her body to Kingdom Come. Look, they both changed the left hand's location, whilst the right is just dangling there. It looks bizarre without a woman's proportions. Are you trying to make her a lesbian? Do you not think women don't have pleasing proportions with muscles? What the fuck are you all doing? You don't have a problem with the Overwatch 2 ones. This is what I mean, folks, when I say they really don't care about the old characters anymore. Probably because they got a brand new team with bold ideas working in Overwatch. Similar to 343 Industries when they fucked up Halo. Fuck 343 Industries! No one cares about 343 Industries, man. Look, I get it. I'm going to be called a gooner no matter what. And Zarya is my girl just under Brigitte. I have a type, so sue me. But I'm also thinking as a marketing manager and a guy who does want to promote body diversity for you guys at Team 4. And the only way to do that successfully is to make these body types appealing. I get that Zarya looks like a bulky butch and has that insufferable woke-ass millennial haircut they all have now in video games. But I see potential. That's where you have to think like an artist in character design, something that Team 4 is grievously lacking. You can flip that expectation to make her secretly feminine, straight, and have a womanly form that's very appealing to people, showing that buff chicks got it going on, just like any other sexy female. Yes, this body type may not be for everyone, but there's a vocal minority of people, like myself, that love that body type. You can make her sexually attractive if you're clever, and convert some people in seeing something they never knew they liked. Give her a bit of a girly vibe. We know she's got it. She loves pink and makeup, so that's a start right there.
You talk big, but can you deliver?
With a big red bow on top.
I prefer pink.
For you, I can make it happen.
Every guy really likes the Death by Snoo Snoo meme from Futurama, so there's another start right there as well. The attraction's there. You just gotta juxtapose it right.
That's the kind of sap I like.
You the kind of sap I like. I'm scaroused.
Heck, Zarya's physical appearance in Overwatch was inspired by Blizzard's real-life 3D artist, Tamara Baklichuva, who's a hot babe, by the way. Men gravitate to femininity, and if you do let her lean into more of those attractive traits, you will sell more skins. That's what'll make her empowering and inspirational, telling little girls you don't have to be a lesbian to like guy things, you can be beautiful no matter what. In reality, all women want to feel sexy, attractive, feminine, and desirable, so have her reflected, duh. However, we're talking about Activism Blizzard with a bunch of social justice wokesters who are just a bunch of narrow-minded, hypocritical bigots. They ain't gonna do it. They don't know how to. What a waste.
I could have been happy. I could have been. But you put a stop to that.
Fix Brigitte and Zarya, please and thank you. I know there are some that wanna add some cheeky, pun intended, outfits for the babes, but because they established themselves as Activism's Blizzard's esports game, it ain't gonna happen.
Why? Because esports and ESPN are heavily about PC censorship and catering to China.
Over the weekend, a new North American champion for Overwatch contenders was crowned, with Fusion University emerging victorious at the LAN finals in Poland. While this should have been a cause for celebration, the spotlight was stolen as Blizzard has found themselves in the midst of yet another controversy. This time, the topic of potentially heavy-handed censorship is making headlines again, following the banning of Philadelphia Fusion's contenders team jersey. The team was informed leading up to their semi-finals match against Optic that they had been banned from wearing their own jersey due to the prominently displayed FU abbreviation, which had the potential to offend given its mainstream definition. In place of their jerseys, the 6 players instead wore black t-shirts for the rest of the event. Fusion University themselves point out a bit of hypocrisy on Blizzard's part to their ban of the uniform, as they noted that Overwatch itself features the BAMF abbreviation on McCree's belt buckle. The community was quick to side with Fusion on this matter, as the general consensus was that this was taking the censorship and attempt to build a family-friendly esports brand a bit too far.
So according to Ryan Harvey, who is actually the interpreter for Fudo, who was one of the players that used Armika, ESPN actually had them censor Armika's default outfit because it was deemed too sexy by ESPN, because as many of you guys know, or if you don't know, EVO, as far as Street Fighter V goes, the finals, the top 8, was played on ESPN 2.
Whether it's reducing the size of female characters' assets or having to follow specific rules to comply with international regulations, League of Legends is no stranger to censorship. At times, even the game's entire existence gets censored in entire countries due to international political issues.
Kill your friends guilt-free.
From Blizzard's perspective, it is understandable that they want to impress their investors and create an esports league with a reputation for being open to all age groups, but without the swearing and adult humor occasionally seen in other titles. So far, they have been adamant in removing anything that is generally considered to be non-family friendly. This has extended to the banning of certain emotes and words in the Overwatch League Twitch chat, which has already put some members of the community on edge. Banned things in chat include the Forzen Keck emote, any Pepe the Frog emotes, words such as sucks, racist, climax, and even the word hack, among others. Members of the community who have spoken out about this matter criticizing Blizzard's failure to embrace esports or Twitch culture include Slasher, who tweeted, quote, "Blizzard continues to misunderstand Twitch chat culture, gamer culture, internet culture, and more importantly, their own fans. These are memes and harmless, offensive words. Blizzard's actions in these areas make Overwatch League and Overwatch esports look unfun and to some, a joke." It's important to note that of the words that people have found to be banned in the Overwatch League chat, it's believed that the overly harsh censorship could be in part due to lazy moderation on Blizzard's part, as the auto-moderator is likely on the highest setting, which would filter out such terms aside from words and emotes related to Pepe, which unfortunately has been used as a symbol by some members of the alt-right.
What? Oh gosh, yeah, that was the whole thing.
Cringe.
Not only that, there's just too many activists in charge that are so brain dead about humanity, they rather carry out their Marxist control.
The Overwatch League is an esports organization for Blizzard's flagship competitive title. Think of it like the esports equivalent of the NBA, but for Overwatch. However, Blizzard has had a series of controversies stemming from their extremely strict policies, double standard rulings, and overbearing micromanagement of players' lives. Not least of which includes popular streamer XQC, a former pro player who I interviewed with a long history of back and forth with Blizzard.
We now proactively seek out social media sites like YouTube, for example, and look for incidents of very toxic behavior and track down the accounts that are participating in those and action them oftentimes before anybody's even reported them or they've shown up in any other place. So that's just one example of us being proactive that I think is going to make a big difference over time.
Philadelphia Fusion CFO Joe Marsh tweeted the following 4-panel meme about the FU jerseys being banned.
You're still taking responsibility knowing that it was kind of stacked against you.
It's sad and I don't like it. It's politics and I don't like that. The facts matter and the context matters. Any step that I do that is wrong, I pay for it. And that's not should be for everyone. But it isn't, and that's something I didn't adapt to fast enough. I reach out to all the different parties and I try to say, hey man, we have to stop this. Like, this is not only bad for me, it's bad for everyone involved. The org, the league, it was sort of shut down.
I didn't start this war, but I'm damn well gonna finish it.
You know how badly I want this to be a reality, but I ain't getting it.
Hello, everyone. We are so excited to finally have a chance to talk to you about Vendetta.
So excited.
Meanwhile, this gay-ass shit here on screen is perfectly fine.
I don't know what that is, but I'm just going to assume it's something to do with homosexuality and atheism or something.
There's that thing I said about feminism again. It's almost as if there was a point to that first part. You know there's people on that design team that are just dying inside. But what are you gonna do?
I wanna die. I don't wanna live anymore. I really wanna die so bad. Please return me to the dark abyss. I long for death's sweet kiss.
So when Anran came out, they were probably like, ah, fuck, not another hot one. And she's literally a hot one. We're gonna be doing this forever now. And it looks like they are. So when they heard these wokies cry on Twitter and Reddit, they were probably like, ah, here's our chance to say, fuck you, corpos. I know it sounds like a stretch, but during the Anran face change, this was right around the time they were attacking the old guard of Activision Blizzard, trying to let people know the old foolish leaders are gone to make way of the new foolish leaders. Yes, the odds are extremely high they were going to change her design anyways, but why waste making themselves feel empowered or whatever? Folks, all of y'all would be crazy to think the devs were gonna drastically change her design. They need that China money, and they're competing against Marvel rivals for everything, including sexy babes. Sometimes flat out ripping them off. You want to know how I knew they weren't gonna really do any change to Anran? Not really. For starters, the Tracer controversy, but also they made 2 visually distinct skins for Anran with the previous designs already in place. Not to mention all the recolorings as well. That would have taken so much time, effort, and money to redo all of them. Not no way, not no how were they gonna change that. Not only that, look at Faria and these wokies and what they're saying about the new Anran redesign.
We got some exciting news. Oh my gosh. Okay, so in this side-by-side, it doesn't look so extreme, right? But I need to pull this into... I need to pull this into something because holy... Okay, can I do Clip Studio Paint? Let's overlay these two together. And you'll see how drastic the change is, because holy butts. I have not gotten used to Clip Studio Paint yet. Alright. Give me opacity lowered? Sure. Okay. Alright. See the difference between the two? Oh my god, Clip Studio. You're so rough. Okay. That's such a huge change, right?
They're the same picture.
And of course you got my side that's saying, oh, she's coping, those wokies are coping.
I'm gonna sound like a broken record now for saying again, this cope is tremendous, but like it is. I don't know what else to say. This is just sad at this point. I mean, not literally sad, it's hilarious, but you know, figure of speech.
But she isn't coping. She won! She may not have gotten Violet in Overwatch form, but she did get exactly what she wanted. Popularity, recognition, and being a victorious hero on a stand. This isn't coping, this is milking the victory for all it's worth. In fact, it's even worse than that. The original complaint with Anran was that she didn't look like her animation in the Wuyang short. Remember? Which, by the way, I guess people forgot that the 3D modeler for the Wuyang animated short and the 3D modeler for the actual Overwatch game are 2 different artists that execute character design differently. Either way, it was really about the same face syndrome the people were seeing in Anran and the rest of the female roster, which, if I may interject, is only prominent in seeing that same face syndrome with the Asian females looking alike, which isn't that far from reality of all Asians looking alike.
You serious?
I'm kidding, kinda.
I shouldn't have said that. I should not have said that. I shouldn't have said that.
But regardless of that fact, the issue was character design was starting to look a little too samey, which was an issue that was being popularized early on with Hazard. And that was the big issue. However, Fariha and some of these wokies hijacked it and made it about these beauty standards and wokey nonsense. Even though she's backpedaling online and pretending she didn't say that.
She's not really congruent in her looks with her personality, and I think we can ask for that, right? We can ask for that. We can be kind in doing so. Let's make her cuntier, make her a little more slay. And people on the internet got really mad. Because they were like, oh, you want to make her ugly, you want to make her fat, oh, you're trying to ruin our game. And I think it became bigger
That's
than
what
me.
they took from what you said, that they wanted, that you wanted to make her ugly. You never said ugly or fat, right?
No.
Okay.
No, you just said fuck her being beautiful.
We're going to challenge the beauty standards plaguing and ransacking media these days, right? The Ozempic chic, the contour your nose, you have no nose, the tiniest nose. And I think because of that precedence, people feel understandably let down.
I may have been born at night, but it wasn't last night, sweetheart. And the scariest revelation of all this is that the Overwatch dev team seemed to have planned with Fariha to put that video out.
And so I was talking to developers about how to handle that, talking to PR, and getting approval before having this the message come out of like, hey, I've shared these thoughts with the devs. She's not really congruent in her looks.
You had talked to developers and PR as well at Blizzard, and they said yes, to do this video, we support you.
They were like, yeah, here's what you can share.
So Team 4 unabashedly believes in the quote-unquote beauty standards and Ozempic chic nonsense. And what she did was so effective that my side somehow thinks she started the whole thing.
Because that's really what it's about. All the activists being happy. And if anything, it's really about making the voice actors happy because she's the one that really started this whole movement.
But I don't really listen to many of these game journals that are quote-unquote on my side, since I do believe that most of them are the Tucker Carlsons of the gaming industry. But I digress. So yeah, this movement made her popular. She became the champion for this righteous indignation that Overwatch caved and gave her exactly what she wanted. Yes, she won! And when the dust truly settles, at some point, somewhere down the line, she's going to play the victim card for all the people that were mean to her. Probably due to her trifecta victim card of being a minority gay woman. I mean, people are already doing that for her.
Whether or not you fuck with the design or you don't fuck with the design, harassment is just never okay. Like, if you're going to make an argument that the design was fine, you should probably rely on better examples more so than just calling her, a woman, dyed hair, blah, blah, blah. Like, at least make an intelligent, argument. Like, make it intelligent. Make it something that I can understand. Something that I can say, yes, this is correct.
There it is again. All of it's harassment, even the angry criticism, all of it. When they go defensive like that, that means you're right. Thankfully, Faria is just saying, don't listen to the haters.
And so there was hate from haters, because there's always going to be haters. And then, as it's progressed, like, how do you feel now, and what's transpired?
I feel really good about it. The massive wave of hate. I know it wasn't about me.
No, we were mad at you, and Blizzard too.
And I know not to take to heart the opinions of anybody I wouldn't ask advice from, so on that front, I'm chill, I'm good.
Like I said, she's just blaming the haters. For now.
you know? And a couple of these videos that I watched, like, they made some arguments saying that, like, it's a hero complex thing, that the video was fake, whatever. Okay, sure, you can say that. But if you're saying things like, it's because she's a lady, it's because she's gay, like, come on, give me something different here. You know, I'm craving for a debate here. Give me something different.
Oh, trust me, sweetheart. I will.
We have such sights to show you.
Because now that we're all caught up with the Anran issue, now we get to the real problem that this debacle has now unleashed to the masses. Now we get to the reason why I'm talking about Overwatch in full, extensive detail. Now that we know that Faria was conspiring with Overwatch's Team 4 to make a controversial statement about beauty standards over Anran's face, something that Team 4 already planned on changing, we're more than likely sure that Phipps was indeed a plant to stir up the exact same controversy of sexualizing characters like the Tracer butt pose, something that was never an issue with fans and was used as false PR over a pose the team was already planning on changing. But that Tracer butt pose controversy was a Pandora's box that they had opened, a plague they unleashed. For you see, whether planned or not, when the Overwatch team responded to fix Tracer's butt pose, this was a sign that told all who saw it that Overwatch would respond to complaints. And guess who took advantage of that? Go on, have a guess. Everyone! And boy howdy did everyone show up for their 2 cents. And since Overwatch is filled with activists, well, the activists got what they wanted. But it didn't stop there. The Overwatch pro players, the influencers, and the Twitch streamers all had their zany ideas. And Activision Blizzard and the Overwatch team just bent over backwards and said, "Insert here, please." Oh man, the SJWs are mad about Tracer flaunting her butt, saying that's not how her character would behave, so we'll change her pose into a more cutesy way of posing her butt. Oh man, now the LGBTQ community is mad we don't have LGBTQ representation, so we'll make our mascot gay, the leader of Overwatch gay, and all the tomboys gay. We'll even add a gay environmentalist and a tranny that everyone will forget about, including us, just for good measure. We'll even make our established cool black guy gay to get double diversity points, but more bisexual instead, so not to piss off our straight black male player base, so we can keep talking about how diverse our player base has been. Oh man, XQC's getting controversial again. That's gonna hurt our sponsorship deals with Twitch and other advertisers. We better ban him again for the 100th time. Oh man, our sponsorship deals are in trouble again. Pepe the Frog is now considered a Republican meme. We better ban that as well. Oh man, now the esports streamers are butthurt they can't play the game they want to play with the new GOATS meta and all. We better change it to 2 tanks, 2 damage, and 2 healers to a team. That'll fix it. And we'll do it via roll queue. Oh man, now the league is still complaining, so we'll implement hero bans. Oh man, everyone hates these changes. Take it back, take it back. Big fuck up, huge fuck up. Oh man, now the 2 tanks are too tough for the professionals, so we'll just make it 5v5. That'll definitely fix it. Oh man, now everyone's not happy, so we'll just change it back to 6v6 the way it used to be, but still keeping 2 tanks to a team. Oh man, now no one likes Jesse McCree's name because our coworker named after him got a little handsy with the ladies here. Now we must change it to Cassidy. Oh man, now one of our esports players that has a Zarya alien skin is an alleged sex offender. We're gonna have to ask people if they want a refund on that skin. Oh man, now we got Russia going to war with Ukraine and all the activists wants to change the Russian symbol on our Russian soldier Zarya. I guess we are gonna do it. Oh man, the esports investors will cry period blood if we give Widowmaker the classic cami skin. We have to appease the SJWs, so we'll give spats underneath her costume. That'll fix it. And cover up the classic jury outfit just for good measure. Oh, the normies and filthy casuals are complaining? Fuck them. Really, feminazis? Really? Are we really still gonna be bitchy over the established design of a nearly 40-year-old game character? Grow the fuck up! Oh, I don't see what the big deal is. Shut up, you annoying contrarians!
I can't deal with people anymore. It's just, everyone sucks so hard, you know? Everybody is so stupid. And they all walk around going, yeah, 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 yeah.
Oh, poor Blizzard. Let's talk a little bit about Overwatch because they have a very interesting history with messing with feminists. There was the time where Blizzard decided to comply to the demand of one person on changing Tracer's butt post. Blizzard responded in kind with a post that is just a million times sexier. Then there's that time where Blizzard decides to censor Overwatch porn because... why?
Because they were more popular than the game and carried the franchise during its darkest hours.
It's a pornography store.
Not really great for PR for the company right there. I mean, look at the people pining for Brig after launch.
I didn't do it.
Again, don't do porn. It's not worth it.
Then there's that time where Blizzard gets criticized for cultural appropriation, and the creative director responds with, we're not gonna offend everybody, we don't want to offend everybody. It seems like Blizzard is being populated by a bunch of pussies. I'm sorry, Blizzard, but there's a specific group of people that you just cannot please, and thy name is feminist.
Oh, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. 'Cause you thought the Pepe ban was bad. There was a time Overwatch banned the use of the OK hand gesture symbol because they believed it was linked to white supremacy. I shit you not. What the hell is wrong with you, Activism Blizzard? There was the time people were pissed that the Overwatch team soft bait and switched customers out of their money with Orisa's spear skin to default appearance. There was the time Overwatch did a scuzzy tactic where they had a limited time purchase on an exclusive skin just to release the skin later for free. And this wasn't the first time they did that. There was the countless times the Overwatch team lazily recolored skins and promoted them as exclusive skins, selling them at egregious prices higher than competitors that were selling newly designed skins cheaper and with better quality. Or how about every single time there was a police skin added, they threw a hissy fit, which was 3 times by the way, because Democrats hate heroes, like the police and the military, and promote evil villainous groups, like Antifa and Black Lives Matter. But that wouldn't be the only Overwatch drama the black supremacist group Black Lives Matter got involved in, for they did it again in the most black supremacist way possible. That was the time the fandom cried racism when May had a skin of an MMA fighter where these wackos were saying she shouldn't have the cornrow hairstyle because that's specifically for black people. Because, you know, not a single MMA fighter that's not black has cornrows, right? Why is it that it's always the protesters that are the real racists? Haven't you bigots had enough bullying people over hairstyle on the internet already? So what if white people have cornrows? White Irish dads used to abandon their family and kids long before black men in America did. It's not like we screamed, "You stole our bit!" Just everything else.
Daddy, what's your welfare?
It's what keeps us alive.
That's racist!
Wow, what do you say after that one? Brutal, savage, wrecked, absolutely taken down.
There was also that Support a Streamer event controversy, where you could get the limited edition Brigitte Medic skin, but you had to gift subscription to these said streamers. Streamers most people didn't really want to support, and they sprung the event not telling people who don't really go on Twitch regularly it was happening, thus losing the skin forever, like me. This was also the last straw when I left Overwatch for a good long while. You don't play games with me when it comes to Brigitte.
And let us not forget the chef's kiss creme de la creme controversy of Blitzchung, Hong Kong, and May debacle. For those unaware, it started during the time UK gave Hong Kong back to Communist China. A Hearthstone champion and Hong Kong resident, Blitzchung, had won a championship at that time. But after the victory, he said in an interview translated, "Free Hong Kong, revolution of our generation," in rightful protest. This led Blizzard to get rid of his prize money and ban him from Hearthstone for a year, because Activision Blizzard prostitutes all their orifices to China. This in turn caused massive backlash, and the community made the Overwatch Chinese character Mei a free Hong Kong symbol in hopes China would ban Overwatch over there, which was admirable but pointless, and only made Overwatch players frustrated to see politics in their game for the umpteenth time. And holy shit, the sheer visceral hatred for Brigitte just because she retconned the meta for elite competitive players is unhinged insanity. Man, that was toxic. Pro players need to touch grass.
You are a thief of joy.
So, I wanted to reference the Sankaku Complex article. Activision Blizzard's latest round of unnecessary censorship comes from Overwatch 2 with a reused Christmas main menu artwork that actually deletes the character Ashe, who showed a prominent thigh gap in tight shorts. Fantastic artwork. What a wonderful job by this artist, whose work is now being disrespected by Blizzard because it says the artwork, which was done by South Korean artist Dospi Jin, originally featured the DPS hero Ashe in a tight-fitting outfit with a visible thigh gap standing next to Mercy, Genji, and Hammond, and then of course in the background you have, you know, all these other like tiny little Easter egg characters, and her robot Bob is also in the back along with Reaper outside the window. And here's what the Overwatch 2's title screen looks like in this year's Christmas event that reuses the same artwork. So during last year's Christmas event, they did use this artwork. They did not censor anything, but this year they've decided to remove anything that could be deemed a little too controversial.
Honestly, I think it's just for readability of the image and menu screen put together, since there are other things like those pictures edited out of the artwork for that specific purpose. And Ashe would prevent us seeing the other members, and it would be a little too cluttered. It also looks like when they eventually released Ashe's cozy outfit, there were noticeable differences from the artwork, so they probably took that out for those reasons as well. But after all the bullshit, sure, I could believe it. It's hard to tell what's what anymore. Overwatch never had a problem with attractive women, it had a problem with girl boss women and putting them in safe PC outfits. Should they have explained it? Yes, because when you explain one stupid decision, you have to explain all of them. This is why the Tracer butt pose should have just been done and never brought up. Because now Overwatch has set the precedence that any little change will always have a controversial spotlight on it. And anyone, and I mean anyone, can make any minuscule change to the game if they complain loud enough. And depending on who you are, Overwatch will do it for you.
Hey everyone. Thank you all for the incredible reception to last week's Spotlight event. We're sorting through all the questions, comments, excitement, and feedback that you've all shared, and I wanted to take a moment to address one thing in particular. The team is currently discussing what it will take to make Anran look and feel more like the fierce older sister that we all envision her to be. We're so proud of the work that our team has put into Anran and the rest of the 5 heroes launching in Season 1, and we agree that she can be even better if we get this aspect of her right in game.
And the list goes on and on and on and on and on. And now we're up to Anran. Gosh, was Overwatch drama really that bad? Yes. And the thing is, it never stopped.
This isn't drama I just researched to find. This was all stuff I remembered. It kept concussing right in the fucking skull and bleeding into the brain every fucking day, non-stop, 24/7. There were days I couldn't even tell if I liked the game or was addicted to it because I felt guilty supporting it until I just stopped for my sanity's sake. That's how bad it got, and I know I'm not the only one. That's why I sound so manic and pissed off in this video right now, and that's why it's taking so long. While some of these complaints are very justified, poignant, and imperative to listen to, there's tons that are either pointless or damaging to the brand. Sadly, all of it could have been avoided if the strummed up controversies like the Tracer butt pose and the Anran face debacles that Activision Blizzard created to artificially, quote unquote, listen and respond to the fans never happened. But because it did, it falsely greenlit the fan base to believe that any obsessive idiot may have a chance for Blizzard to enact any retarded and pointless idea they strum up. Which reminds me, fix Brigitte and Zarya, please and thank you.
He's in, boys! He did it! He said it!
But the biggest problem with these controversies is that some of the good things Team 4, the team that works on Overwatch and Activision Blizzard, does, gets overshadowed by some egotistical and woke messaging they have to infuse in it. Everything's gotta either be politically correct or a political movement. And because of these said issues, let's talk about the character that suffered the worst from it all. Shit, we ran out of time. Fuck! So much for being a two-parter. Oh well, until next time. Happy Father's Day. Sorry the Democrats turned it into Arrogant Asshole Month. Wait, it's July. The 250th birthday of the great USA? Well, in that case...
I'll be Tracer.
I'm already Tracer.
What about Widowmaker?
I'm already Widowmaker.
I'll be Bastion.
Nerf Bastion.
You're Edsel Winston.
I wanna be Winston.
I guess I'll be Genji.
I'm already Genji.
Then I'll be McCree.
I already chose McCree.
I have an idea.
What's your idea?
You should be.
I'm not gonna be Mercy.
You should have picked Mercy.